Good morning, good evening, no, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, good night to whoever you are, wherever you are, whenever you are. It is Monday, April 6th, and it is 5:53 p.m. on Monday. You will be seeing this tomorrow in the afternoon, Tuesday afternoon, don't know whenever I get off work and I get home. Yeah, how are you guys doing? Hope you guys are doing well. I have been having, well, they're not really reoccurring dreams, but they are reoccurring themes. And I've stated this before. I've gotten these reoccurring themes, whether I'm late for school or late for work, especially on the first day of school, and I forgot my combination, and I'm trying to rush to my first day in class. I'm trying to get a hall pass on the first day, things of that nature. Being late for work to a point where I'm asking, do I go or do I not go? Do I go in for work? Is it too late? What do I do? That's not okay, things of that nature. And then there's like a new theme, and it's actually people. These are actually people, where it's like trying to smooth things over, but not too much. Oh, there's a new one. But just actual people that I knew, and yeah, it's kind of a weird thing to talk about in the sense of in one dream we're fighting, and the next dream everything's like calmed down, like they're talking to me, things of that nature. Yeah, it's very weird. I don't know what to say about that. It's like weird dreams. Yeah, and then occasionally, like I said, the reoccurring themes to it and certain people in it. Yeah. But so if you guys know that I did a video on a game that had plagued me for years. It was called Slave Zero. This game had plagued me for 27 years. It was on Dreamcast and never knew the name. But the one thing that stood out was you were on a galaxy far, far away. No, it wasn't Star Wars. But you were on a different planet, and you were some alien prisoner who escaped prison, and you're being hunted down in a world that's not your own. And when you get sort of cornered or surrounded, there was a voice like, ha ha ha, who will save you now? And like I said, it had plagued me for years. I tried finding it, trying to figure out what it was, couldn't find it. And then on one fine day, all of a sudden I found it in a store, and it was called Slave Zero. And when I saw that case, it clicked. I'm like, that's the game. No, that can't be. That's the game. Went on YouTube, and lo and behold, saw it. I'm like, oh my God, is this it? Is this it? And I'm holding the phone to my ear to hear the last line, because it's like everything is like so familiar. Like, oh, like this is it. This is the aha moment. And then lo and behold, I hear, ha ha ha, who will save you now? It was Slave Zero the whole time. Well, about a few years ago, I had done a video called Name the Scene. And I have done a few videos of that. And basically, I'm explaining a scene of this movie, hoping that people knew what the movie was, if they could, answer it for me. Because there were just so many movies that I saw, but never knew the name of it, but I knew that certain scene. So there was this horror movie that has plagued me for years. And there were several different scenes in that movie that had, plagued me, that stuck with me. Like, for example, the older brother put a fake tarantula in the piano of his little brother, because it was his little brother's birthday party. Now, we all know it's fake, but all of a sudden when the little brother takes a whack at it, a real spider comes out. A tarantula comes out, it's on his face. People are freaking out, oh my god. And of course, the parents are disappointed in the older brother because they were told, hey, can you please set up the pinata? And of course, they were telling the truth. I didn't put it in. I didn't put it in. I'll admit, I put a big spider in it, but not a real tarantula, blah, blah, blah. So he gets sent away. And then there's another scene that involves the older brother where he's on a date. He brought a girl to the house. He wasn't supposed to. He's babysitting. And unfortunately, the girlfriend gets sort of, she sees this black residue on it. She's like, oh my God, what's this? And then she catches fire, getting severely, injured, severely burned. So she goes to the hospital. And of course, he's checking her and goes, it hurts. That scene stuck out. There's another scene where it also involves the older brother. Yeah, the older brother is not having much luck in this movie. And in this particular scene was, those shadow boxes that sometimes people have butterflies in it? And other people's have different kind of insects like rhino beetles or praying mantises, stick bugs, beetles, all that stuff. Well, it was a shadow box and it happened to have, I think, a fly or a hornet. It was something. And it broke out of that shadow box and it attacks the brother. And then it goes into the brother's ear and he starts kind of convulsing, almost as if he's having some sort of epileptic episode, having a seizure. And the parents go in and they get rid of that bug and out of his ear and he starts convulsing. There was also a scene within that same. Now, this is all the same movie. This is just different scenes of the movie that stood out to me. And there was one where every time, because like I said, it was the big brother and the little brother, but it seems like the wife got remarried to the now dad, who may have had some kids from his previous marriage, because I believe she had the little boy and the little girl, because there's a little girl. And of course, the stepdad had his son, the older brother, the stepbrother, from a previous marriage. Well, every time she looked at a picture of her deceased husband, it sounded like she would freak out every time her and her new husband would, share a moment together. That's all I'm going to say. But it looked like she was having a fit every time she did it, And then there's a scene where the younger brother, younger stepbrother, however you want to call it, he would stare at his closet door because he would feel like there was something in there. And then all of a sudden, near the climax of the film, because he's in his baseball helmet, he has his bat or hockey stick, one of them is in his hand. He's about to go 50 rounds with whatever's in his closet. The closet door busts open, and it's some guy who looks dead, almost demonic-like, and he's got a hatchet in his hand, and he says something towards the little boy, kisses the hatchet, and goes off to try to kill, go after people. And, yeah, and it stuck with me for years. Come to find out, like I said, I saw it when I was a kid, and it turns out, I finally got the name of it. It was called Amityville, the Dollhouse. And I read about it, and I was like, okay, yeah, I remember that scene. I remember that scene. Okay, so it wasn't this, and this. It was that. But I was a kid and I didn't understand it. So it turns out for years I have found out that it was Amityville Horror, the Dollhouse. I do remember there was a dollhouse and the little girl would play with the dollhouse, but it didn't really stick out to me compared to these other scenes that just stuck out. And this was in the 90s, so yeah, 90s kids were just built differently back there. But, yeah, I finally found out what that movie was. At first it was called Jacob's Closet, but I looked up Jacob's Closet and I'm like, that's not it. That's not it. No. And then Amityville came up. I'm like, Amityville? I'm like, the house? Where the supposed older brother went ballistic and just 86'd his whole family? Yeah. Yeah. I pretty much X'd them out. That Amityville horror, was more than one. So, looked it up, saw the trailer, and I read more into it, and I was like, I think this is the film. It's gotta be it. Did the trailer and everything. And I'm like, yep, this is the movie. This is it. So I have to check if it's on Google TV, and if so, I'll buy it. If not, okay, whatever. But, that's a lot of scenes in that movie stuck out to me. So, a movie that has plagued me a lot longer than Slave Zero, I found. Yep, I found. So yeah, it took me a while to figure that out. But yeah, Amityville Horror, Amityville, The Dollhouse. So yeah, that movie has plagued me for years. There's a lot of other movies that have plagued me for years. There's one movie where it was literally the beginning part, and it has the intro, the opening credits, and the camera is going through as if it's going through a tour of an apartment. And as we're seeing it, we're hearing someone screaming in agony. Ah, ah. And of course my dad going, monster, monster. And then the movie came again. It was the same part again. And of course I'm imitating my dad, like, monster, monster. And my dad goes, no, it's a movie. But I'm just saying what you just said, But yeah, no. I'm gonna see if I can find that movie, because I do remember it was like it was a scene from a movie. It was the opening of a movie, and it's going through an apartment, a rather spacious, big apartment, and you do hear screaming, oh, oh, and it's like a male. So I'm gonna figure out what that is, because that has also, stuck with me for a while, a long, long time ago. So, yeah, I'm gonna do some digging. But yeah, but there's a whole ton of other movies like I've talked about and things. Okay, so if you're interested in what these scenes are that I talk about, you're gonna have to go to my channel name, click on videos, go to the search bar and type in what's the scene, or what's the scene, or name the scene. There we go. Name the scene, and see what you guys can come up with. One of them, turns out it was the movie I was talking about, Amityville, The Dollhouse, and yeah, that's about it. There's a couple of other movies where certain scenes have stuck out. So you guys let me know if you guys can help me out. Cool, great. If not, it is what it is. But yeah, Amityville Horror Dollhouse. I found the name. And it is what it is. So you guys have a good rest of your day. I just wanted to share with you what I found. It was that movie, Amityville Dollhouse. So yeah, I'm gonna go check it out, see if I can buy it, and watch it, and go from there. So you guys have a good rest of your day, and be safe out there, alright? Bye.